But when you look at Deshaun Watson, it was finally like the Houston Texans had their franchise quarterback. I mean, they've been searching for this guy since the inception of the franchise in 2002. And you look at what Deshaun Watson has done early in his career, 19 touchdown passes through 7 games, the most ever for a quarterback. So very impressive. Led the league in QBR until this injury on Thursday. So it's just really tough to see the kid catch this kind of a break. But Deshaun Watson had to deal with this type of injury in Clemson 3 years ago. He had a torn ACL, the other knee. He bounced back from that. So there's no reason to think that Deshaun Watson is not going to bounce back from this one.
Now, Chris, I talked to Coach Mangini about this. Mangini, myself, you were in both. You were in the old NFL and the new NFL with the collective bargaining agreement. Do you think that the overall training, or let's go this way, give us a glimpse at what type of training and technology the modern-day player is going through, and is there any excuse or explanation to why so many guys are getting injured now compared to when you played?
Well, it feels like we're seeing more and more non-contact knee injuries, and that's the frustrating part about it because you've cut down on the practice time to try to mitigate some of that during the regular season. But unfortunately, because your athletes are bigger, faster, stronger, more explosive, you're going to see that because the human body was just not designed to make some of the movements that these guys are physically capable of doing. But Deshaun Watson, he's come through a lot of adversity to get to the point where he is right now. And so looking at his career, his track record from college, and now into the National Football League, he's seeing the success he's had early. I think as soon as he gets the chance next year when he
and that's
back,
a position
he's going to come back.
Yes.
He's going to come back.
Well, just take one before we move on. Just take a little deeper dive on that. First of all, are you surprised at the number of injuries that have afflicted the NFL this season?
Yeah, I am, and especially the Houston Texans, right? They're missing J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless, and now Deshaun Watson is added onto that list. The injuries just keep piling up for Bill O'Brien, and at some point, the Houston Texans are not going to be able to overcome it. I think this injury might be one.
I think this is the point. And there's a parallel story that happened with the Texans yesterday, which is once Deshaun goes down, they instantly sign Matt McGloin. And, of course, people on Twitter are like, why didn't they sign Kaepernick? You know what I mean? Kaepernick's better than Matt McGloin. Matt McGloin, his connection is Bill O'Brien coached him in college. Like, that's their connection. I just want to address that quickly here. The Texans' mistake was not failing to sign Colin Kaepernick yesterday. But, man, oh, man, you can make a case that they made a mistake failing to bring him in once Deshaun became the starter. Now, obviously, they wouldn't with their owner, like Bob McNair. He's made that crystal clear. But when the argument against certain teams, against Green Bay, against certain, for example, bringing in Cap had been not the style. You know what I mean? That's not the style of offense they are running. Once you made Deshaun Watson your starter and you changed your offense entirely, guess who's not the style anymore? Tom Savage, the guy who is your backup quarterback. There is a perfect facsimile for, and I think Deshaun's way better than Cap, but a guy who can run that college-style read option, which is what they were running with Deshaun. Now, Deshaun was a little more sophisticated than most rookie quarterbacks, but Bill O'Brien, some of his brilliance this year was on the fly adjusting. We're going to bring in some of the Clemson stuff that are similar to Clemson, that Deshaun thrived at because...
The same thing that Harbaugh did with Cap to make him successful in San Francisco.
And so if you wanted... Because here's the thing. Because it's a season-ending injury, maybe it's not as big of a deal. But if Deshaun Watson had gotten a concussion and was going to miss a game or 2 games, you would have liked to have a guy come in that would be running the same offense your quarterback is when he comes back. And so people are upset that the Texans didn't even bring in Cap for a workout yesterday. It should have been back in mid-September when Deshaun got the job. If they were ever going to bring in Cap, he would have then have 6 weeks in the system, 6 weeks with the team.
So, couple of things with that, Nick. First of all, I don't know that you want to bring in the distractions and the circus that comes along with signing a player like Colin Kaepernick with a young franchise quarterback. Why would you want him to have to deal with that? A backup quarterback during the stages of his development, why would you want him to have to deal with the distraction that comes along with Colin Kaepernick?
From the moment from the Patriots game moving forward, Deshaun had so clearly solidified himself as the starter, no one would be saying bench Deshaun for Colin Kaepernick.
I understand that, but the distractions that come along with Colin Kaepernick, because he is polarizing due to the protest during the national anthem, there's a lot of noise that comes along with signing Colin Kaepernick. You can't avoid that. That's first thing. Second thing is, any team in the National Football League, when they lose their starting quarterback, they're going to change their offense. It doesn't matter who it is. So even if you have Deshaun Watson as your starting quarterback, there are going to be some things that he does better than Colin Kaepernick.
Of course they're going to change it, but the drastic change, hold on, Chris, the drastic change from the offense you run with Deshaun Watson to the offense you are going to see them attempt to run with Tom Savage, it is going to look nothing like the other. Like, I understand that, yes, of course, you are going to go through some adjustments, but they are, I watched the Texans last year run Bill O'Brien's offense and the year before, and the offense they're running this year with Deshaun, they are nothing alike. They're flatly. So it is going to be an enormous change when you have Tom Savage in there.
You're setting the table. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Jenna.
You make this assumption, and please tell me if I'm wrong here, that, oh, he's out quickly. Bring in Kaepernick. Hasn't played in how many months? Don't worry about the distractions. Stick him in the pocket. Same offense.
Jenna,
I understand he's better than McGloin.
No, that's not my point. I just wonder.
Tom Savage.
Hold on, Jenna, I wonder if you heard what I said.
He wouldn't have to change the offensive
No, I
scheme.
said do it 6 weeks ago. I said bring him in as the backup 6 weeks ago. I'm not advocating that they signed him this week. Right, they're being criticized for bringing in McGloin instead of Cap this week.
Oh, you're
the
saying
point I'm making is, yes, that it should. Once Deshaun became your starter, that's when the move would have made sense, not this week.
All right. I saw Matt McGloin play in college, okay? He played for Bill O'Brien. I can understand the similarities in the offense, but he couldn't play then, all right? So now to think that he's going to be able to play at the highest level, okay? Like being familiar, I'm familiar with a lot of people. I don't have them on the show, all right? So them trying to use that as some excuse, you can make any excuse when you don't want someone on your roster. And we are absolutely wasting our time trying to make a case for Cap in Houston when the owner is not about that, and his politics don't line up. So it's not about skill. It's not about changing offenses. They have made a conscious decision. And you made a great point, because it's not fair to Deshaun Watson as your franchise quarterback to have to speak up for the team when everyone's asking not the backup, because the backup guy's not being interviewed. All the questions go to the starter. And he's got to answer for Cap. And it's be like, Cap's not taking a knee. Well, how's Cap in the locker room? He's got to answer those questions every day. And it's not fair to him, all right? If it was a football decision, Cap would be playing football somewhere. But we know it's not a football decision. So let's stop making up all this hyperbole. Oh, I'm familiar with this guy. Man, that dude can't play.
They have two guys now as their quarterbacks, in Tom Savage and Matt McGloin, who weren't even good in college. Forget the fact that Tom Savage hasn't thrown an NFL touchdown in 7 games.
You know what I'm shocked about? I'm shocked that I might see Matt McGloin even play again. I thought I was done with him in the Big Ten.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.